Hi again, I'm Shanti Moroina, and my intention today is the same as before, to share with you the most valuable training you can possibly get. This is the only map you'll ever need on your journey to becoming the impactful visionary leader you were always meant to be. In today's video, you will begin the journey of stepping out of the denial and into the bigger role you are meant to have. Denial is the first phase of the journey, and we will cover all 5 phases of it in the next video. But before that, it's important for you and for your leadership path to have a solid beginning. Then you'll be able to evaluate your present situation and clearly see your next step. So if you didn't watch the first video, I strongly recommend pausing to watch it right now. You'll find it above. And in the first video, we discussed the importance of emotional transformation and the power of vulnerability and the vehicle you need to travel through the 5 phases. It really sets up everything we'll cover today, so please scroll up and watch. So if you are all caught up, let's dive right into today's lesson. If you want to be an impactful, visionary leader, first you need to step out of the denial, face the truth, and journey through all the phases of emotional transformation. What is important to understand is that you will never meet anyone who has ever achieved success in any other way. Meaningful achievements aren't easy. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And the more you are willing to be vulnerable and open, the greater an impact you can make as a leader. Avoiding emotional transformation, which leads you through the phases, can kill your dream. Unfortunately, I can't make it any easier on you. Because you are here, I'm sure you have already figured this out. You may be a coach with a great idea or an entrepreneur launching your next creation. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. I know you don't want to die with the music still inside you. You want to have an impact, live your purpose, and make a contribution. And of course, you want the financial abundance, the money that comes along with it. In years of work with thousands of students, I have noticed 2 main types of people. And the first come to me and say, you know, Shanti, I don't care as much about money, I just want to change the world. And the other kind cares more about money than changing the world. And you know what? I can identify with both sides. I had my fair share of financial struggle. At one point, I only had 1 coin in my purse, and I didn't know how am I going to buy food for my 3 children the next day. And now I live a different life, and my purpose is to contribute and change the world, and I'm well paid to do so. And this is what I like about the journey through phases so much. It will deliver everything you want and could need. It will fulfill your purpose and contribution, and you will attract also all the money you want and need. I said this in my first video, and I will say it again. There is no path. You need to create your path by walking it. So you need to be okay without outside approval at the beginning. You need to be okay with tolerating the discomfort and taking action without knowing the results. You need to be able to trust your feelings, since they are the only guides you have. You need to bravely embrace your role and be vulnerable. And you need to be able to dare greatly. If you don't make your leap, there are consequences. You may stay stuck and never fulfill your purpose. You may remain in old patterns with situations and relationships drama repeating over and over. And this isn't just painful to your life, it can also cause pain or illness within your body. And you know, illnesses and injuries have an emotional cost 100% of the time. Emotional transformation is a must for your mental and physical health. And it is so painful for me to see people who are talented and brilliant, but for the lack of emotional mastery, they never reach their full potential. They work hard and achieve professional excellence, but just never break through an emotional barrier, and it holds them back. And the most heartbreaking lie you will ever tell to yourself is this: it was not meant to be. I want to tell you that if you dream it, it is possible. You are a visionary, a leader, a pioneer. You see the future and you are meant to create it. So you have to leap. This is the only way to access the growth and fulfillment you are seeking. If you feel like there is more to your life, even if you can't put your finger on it precisely, trust it, and go for it. I sincerely hope you will join me in my upcoming online program, Leap for Leaders. But in any case, I want you to know that emotional transformation is magic that will always, but always help you on the other side. This was what happened to me as well. After healing physically from my illness, I became one of the best Slovenian mountain climbers, and I met my husband along the way. We actually met and our relationship grew on a climbing trip to Himalayas. And we enjoyed an active lifestyle and pushing physical limits. We climbed all the world's major mountains. We were getting ready for our biggest expedition ever when I became pregnant. And I'm sure that I was able to get pregnant so quickly due to my emotional and physical breakthrough that I described in video 1. After the pain in my reproductive organs was released, it was like a huge rock was lifted from that area in my body, and I was a happy mom to my firstborn. But soon after his birth, my marriage started to reflect areas of my life where I was still deeply wounded emotionally. Our worst area of conflict and pain was verbal abuse and money. Our relationship reflected actually my low self-esteem, and I slowly began to uncover my deep denial. I had no idea of who I really was. I was working my self-rage and avoiding my emotional pain. I was over-exercising. I was overdoing it in every area of my life. And then sometimes I cried for hours or sometimes even days. I felt so lost. I mean, I had a Ph.D. but quit working at the university because I felt like I was wasting my time there. And then I established and led a successful company. But despite all the success, I was so in the dark tunnel. I knew there had to be more to life, but I had no idea what and where and how to get there. But the worst part of it all was that I was desperately trying to be who I was not. I tried to be a good girl. I tried to be a good wife. I tried to be a good business owner, working even more. I tried to forget my power. I tried to forget my strength, my wisdom. I was shrinking. I was making myself small in order to please everyone and to hold on to my marriage. And sometimes I couldn't keep it together and then I'd burst. I'd get into harsh conflicts and then I felt even worse. I just didn't know how to handle what was causing me so much turmoil. I couldn't really see what was wrong. It was all simmering underneath. And my health began the downhill journey again. And then I understood. I was denying myself totally. This was not me. I wanted out. I wanted more. And there must be more to life. There must be something bigger available to me, my purpose, my calling, also my abundance. And at that moment, I decided to go on the journey. It was the hardest but most rewarding journey I have ever walked in my life. Since then, I've been out of denial and through the 5 phases many times. It's easier and easier each time because I know more or less what to expect. I understand how to get through each phase fast and I'm stronger emotionally. And the emotional mastery has also allowed me to receive more abundance than I could ever imagine. Along the way, I began to realize just how crucial this journey is for the personal and professional growth of every visionary leader. And this is how my system, Leap for Leaders, was born. My clients love it, and so will you. They tell me how they literally enter a new reality faster than they could ever imagine, and that their confidence, fulfillment, and joy grow beyond their imagination. They are also making 10 or more times more money than they did before. Just to name a few, one client of mine was able to give a huge business presentation that was previously unimaginable due to her fear and lack of confidence. She used the FEEL system, which I described in the first video, and I teach it in depth in my Leap for Leaders online program. And she put it into action, and the results were even better than she could have ever dreamed. And then another client of mine, a very capable investor, she was drowning in her emotional affairs and wasn't really able to focus on accomplishing her purpose. And on her journey, she learned to accept that vulnerability is actually a good thing and not something to run away from. Now she's doing multi-million-dollar projects in investment field, and she's following her feelings to make her best decisions in no time. I'm just in awe watching her blossom. And then one more, she is a very capable herbalist. She was suffering in an abusive relationship and she could not accelerate her success. So she learned how to stop the blame and use her healthy anger, the emotions she was judging herself for previously, to help her set the healthy boundaries. And now she's doing what she loves, she's taken on the project of her dreams, and her relationship is slowly improving too.
Moja pot do destinacije milijon je bila zelo težka.
Saying yes to this program was really hard. I just could not make a fast decision because I was not used to investing in myself. Ultimately, I made the decision to step in. And today, I am really happy I did so. I was able to leave behind so many fears, feelings of guilt and unworthiness. With Shantae's help, I know I could not have done that anywhere else. Today, life flows so much easier than it did before I came to this program. I feel so much better.
Bom rekla, da mi je breme precej lažje. Prvič v življenju sem si upala.
For the first time in my life, I finally stopped undervaluing my work like I had been all my life. I dared to raise my fees by 30%. People in my life were really hard on me when I made this leap. They tried to convince me that I wouldn't have any work if I raised my fees. But I was so sure that everything would be okay. I was confident that we would have enough and that there would even be some extra for me. Because I made this leap, I had a huge breakthrough. I earned not 30%, but 60% more than I was earning before.
I have so many stories like this, and I'm so honored and grateful to share these results with you. Leap is powerful, and this is only a fraction of the positive impact it can have in your life. And all these successes have come because of my own decision to step out of my denial and claim my truth. I had to go first. And I love sharing all the big wins, but truthfully, I love celebrating every single step towards your leadership journey. Big or small, the size doesn't matter. What matters is that you follow your purpose and that you go your unique way. This will always make you more happy and fulfilled. So wherever you are, be happy and proud to be who you are and choose to do it your way. Just make sure you keep taking steps and keep moving forward. Let's go over and I want you to present today's content. So, as I told you, in this video, you will take the first step on your leadership journey with me and you'll learn more about the first phase in detail. And the first phase is called denial. This is typically the phase in which you have a hard time admitting to yourself that there is a bigger calling within you, or that you want something more than what is currently in front of you, even if you are already successful. You may have been raised to be humble and not to think big, and you may be judging yourself, who am I to have such a big dream? And there is always a reason for playing small. Usually it comes from something you learned growing up in your family. For instance, maybe only certain types of successes were allowed or acknowledged in your family. Maybe, for instance, it was okay to be pretty and not smart, or vice versa. Or maybe it was okay to be smart but not rich. And maybe it was okay to be quiet and not to show your true colors. You know, being strong-minded and a leader might have been considered like pushy and unattractive. Or it may be that you were taught that it's important to be smart and successful, but you can never be vulnerable, sensitive, and needing human connection. Men often get saddled with this one. Do any of this ring true from your upbringing? Do you see yourself in this list? Or maybe you aren't even aware of your bigger calling yet. This was my case. I had absolutely no idea what my bigger calling was. Instead, I just experienced this huge frustration. I was unhappy, but I didn't have any idea what I was meant for instead. So if you're experiencing frustration, I know it's not a good time, but it's actually good for you. You might be thinking, Shanti, you are crazy. Frustration, good for me. Why? It's good for you because it leads you to the point of, I've had enough. and you finally act as a catalyst to make your leap. So there are a few signs that mark the denial phase, and the most typical signs are, like I said before, frustration and feelings of discomfort. And you might be experiencing all sorts of trouble or drama. There is no obvious explanation for it. It could be like health issues or relationship issues or many times financial troubles. If you are currently experiencing any of the above, know that that's good too. I've learned that discomfort has a very important place in your life. Discomfort was not created to leave you feeling miserable, but rather as an important sign you are living and acting against yourself. Discomfort may begin as a very tiny and silent voice in your body. You might feel like something is off. Maybe your body is not functioning anymore as it used to, or you may be experiencing certain feelings like sadness or fear. You may feel low confidence and self-esteem, or maybe could be the physical illness. Your finances might be suffering. So if you neglect or avoid these signs, they will just get louder. You can count on it. Physical illness will get just really serious. Feelings will grow stronger and may turn into depression or anxiety. Financial pressure will eventually become so loud so you can no longer make excuses or pretend it doesn't exist. And as humans, we are wired to avoid discomfort by any means. So this phase of denial is typically recognized by hopelessly trying to shut your feelings down. Everyone has their favorite emotional anesthetic. It might seem fairly harmless, like another chocolate or another ice cream or sandwich, or it could be really damaging compulsive shopping or overworking. Yes, working long hours, no matter how necessary and unavoidable it may seem, it's a sign of denial of a bigger picture. Acid stress. Stress is not necessary. It's a sign that you are working against your bigger vision. You might also be prone to impulsive behavior or obsessions. Yes, also obsessions about, for instance, healthy food or hours of doing yoga and meditation fall under this category. These classical means of shutting yourself down are cigarettes, a glass of wine that you seem to need every night, or seeking love outside of your current relationship. It's not wrong or right. There is absolutely no judgment or blame. It's simply raising awareness. I say it loud again, there is only awareness, no judgment. But most importantly, we must drop self-judgment. All of the above are simply signs that you are at the door of your leap. You need only to reach your highest threshold of frustration so that you can finally decide it is enough. And only when you've really had enough can you move to the next phase. So let's focus on the denial today and see how you can use the feel method to move through the painful phase. And it's okay to be in the denial of your bigger purpose for a while so you can get ready, so you can get the physical cue that you've had enough. But long-term denial can be really very costly. It's for your own good to move forward. And the most typical emotion during this phase is fear. Fear is a really tricky emotion since it appears so real in your life and in your body. And fear is the master of creating circumstances that prevent you from moving forward and keep you stuck. Because the circumstances appear so very, very, very real. Your circumstances may look so really bleak and impossible to turn around, and that's hard to move through. And I know many schools of thought will teach you that you only need to change your mindset and move toward action to dodge the fear, but this will only have the short-term results. Of course, as a visionary leader, you don't want the short-term fix. You want a lasting change and sustainable results. You are ready to step into your role as impactful visionary leader. And as you know from the first video, energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. So, what are you looking at here is how to create lasting transformation. Let's take a moment and I'll show you the first steps to this using feel method as we explored in the first video. So pause with me now and invite your fear to join us as a dear guest with no judgment, pressure, or expectation. Just do your best to drop the story around your fear. Just bring it to the surface and simply make yourself available to feel it. This is the F of the feel, you remember? So be willing to explore and find something new rather than recreate the same old story and conclusions. For example, if you have a fear of public speaking, let's not go there. See if you can feel something else. Remember, you cannot think your way through this. It is about feeling. Be open to vulnerability and just stay open. Now let's move to the E, embody, and find the fear in your body. Where is it? How does it feel? Is there any physical sensation that you can sense? Just breathe. Never forget to breathe. Open your body, just paying special attention to your endpoints. These are your fingertips and your toes and your pelvis and your throat. And let the energy of fear just flow freely. Rather than you are constricting it, do not engage in that fear. Just let it flow. It may be very old fear stored in your body, and now you have the chance to unfreeze it. Maybe your body is trembling. It's okay. Let it flow as long as you need. Remember, it is just energy that is transforming right now. It is very helpful to transform this emotional energy by expressing what you feel. And this is the second E from the feel. You remember? E, express. Maybe you have someone who can listen to you, or you can say it out loud. You can also draw it or dance it or find your own mode of expression. You are simply allowing the transformation. You cannot push it or force it anywhere. Your job is to be the river which is doing the transformation. You will feel when your expression is complete, because the wave of fear will subside, and then you will notice a difference in your body. Still, don't try to change or understand anything. And finally, it is time to really surrender and let go. It's the L of the feel. Because when you really let go, something else will appear. You might find just really this new power within you. You might find a clear "it is enough" to invite you to move forward. Because only when it is enough, you are able to enter into the next phase. And this is awakening of your true power by healthy anger. We'll talk about this in the rest of the phases in the next video. I will provide the full roadmap and all 5 phases of your journey. And by now, you probably have an idea of how consciously transforming emotions like fear could help you leap to new levels of your leadership. And this is exactly what we do in the Leap for Leaders. We use the FEEL method and other powerful tools to transform emotions and move through the 5 phases of the leadership journey, starting with denial. If you're a coach no longer afraid to share your controversial but highly effective approach to transformation for your clients, your work will change your clients' lives by leaps and bounds, and you'll be among the most sought after experts in your field. And you'll have a bank account that reflects the same. If you're an entrepreneur able to unleash the confidence needed to, for instance, pitch yourself to a really big investor, then you'll have all the endorsement and financial support you need to see your big vision come to life. Because there is no joy in denial, in avoiding the bigger purpose you know you're here for, even if you are not sure what that looks like. And it's time to face your fear and show the world who you really are. Yes, it will require some vulnerability, but leaders who are willing to be vulnerable are leaders of the future. I'm so happy you are here and you made it so far. Let's wrap up for today's training for now. I'll be back in a few days with a brand new video outlining the entire journey for you. You'll get the whole map. Today it was just the first piece. But before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what came up for you today. So leave me a comment below and leave me your thoughts. Leave me your aha moments and questions or anything I've shared so far. I personally read and answer all of them, and I'm so looking forward to connect further with you. So I love you all, and I see you soon in the next video.